Uh, Hello and welcome. Oh my lord, lots of people. Welcome to episode 1 of the Sekai Podcast, where I will be bothering people in the Ian Sekai scene to let me interview them. Today's guest is the arguable most wholesome guy in the community, the pillar holding up his Oshi. Happy to have the honor to interview you. But before we begin, I'd like to shout out Phil of the Refill Podcast, as his excellent podcast for Rendori played a major role in inspiring this podcast. With that out of the way, hey, you want to introduce yourself?
Hello. Uh, yeah, my name is Z. Yeah. I'm here. I'm a guy. I'm a guy who loves Konami and who's also very addicted to gacha mobile games. And yeah, hi everyone.
So Z, some people may know, some people may not know, but you're pretty accomplished here. I'd say, like one of the like. I would say most people would be afraid of, toeing off against you. So, what like tier? I mean, I would. What like achievements have you gotten in Sekai? You can list whichever ones you want, like your most notable, your less notable, whatever you're proud of. So just go for it.
I'm nothing special. Nah.
Nothing special, huh? Okay.
All I do is tap and not sleep. Nah. But I am happy and proud of my achievements, and they are that I was T2 in Konami's first focus, Don't Let Doubts Hold You Back, and I was T1 in Resonating with You, which is Shiho's second focus, I think.
Is Twilight Parade a Shiho focus? Is it?
So I think it
is. Yeah. Okay. If that's her first focus, then yeah, definitely second focus. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I have Honami CR rank at 36.
Oh shit! When's the 40 coming?
I got to get more chords, and more Honami cards need to come out, and I need to finally hit cap on Honami. I think I'm at like 4K, 5K, something like that.
4K, huh? For my Yoshi, I'm at like 5 something, about 5, like under 6K, I think 5 point something. So you're getting there. The grind is long and hard, but you'll get there.
Yeah. I also have a T20 in Sing in Sync. I don't know if a lot of people do that, but I'm proud of that one because that was like my first real venture into cheering.
Okay. So that was your first. Yeah.
I was gonna say I can complete level 29 songs.
Oh, you're already better than me. I'm totally trashing the game. Oh man, 29 is hard, man.
One day, I'll get as good as all the other people in the cheering community.
Oh man, you and I are like brothers in arms. You ever feel like those people like full combo 32 and you're like, okay, whatever.
When R2 like one day I finally looked at R2's like clear rank, and it's just like maxed out at all of them.
Oh my god, I have like misses on easies, man. Like we live in different worlds, you know. All right. Well, another thing I want to ask is like, how did you get into Sekai? Because as I'm aware, you have played other games. So we'll get into that later. But how did you get into Sekai in particular? Was there like a person who introduced you, or were you a fan of Vocaloid or Miku, or did you perhaps play Bandori, the from Colorful Palette, which is, crafting?
So I never played Bandori or any of the other mobile gacha rhythm games. What happened was, so I really like Vocaloid. Like I got introduced to them in middle school, and I just became like a really big fan of it. Yeah, just because like the really unique music, and it's kind of like growing up in America. There's like a set amount of things that are popular music. Even among the different genres, like rock and pop, and even other things, other classical genres. But like the Vocaloid music and the Vocaloid producers, they were always so like unique and like really talented and interesting, and it really got me into kind of that world. And at the time, I was also really into like rhythm games like Guitar Hero and Rock Band, and then eventually I found out that there was a rhythm game for Vocaloid, which was the Project Diva series, and then I played like all of those games.
Oh my god, are you
like
are you are you better at Project Diva than you are at
no,
Project Sekai?
not good at Project Diva. I can do, what was it? They came out with the super, I think it was also called Master, but like I could barely do half the songs on Master. But I just love those games because it's so fun. Just tap along to the beat. I got like all of them because like I was really into the PS Vita. No one else was, but I was really into it.
Oh, I actually have one too, and I only have like one game on it.
I got like Project Diva F, Project Diva F2, Project Diva, I think there's X or something. And then I also got the ones for the 3DS. Just because.
Oh, you got the 3DS game?
Yeah, I think it was Project Mirai. I think that's
yeah. That's what it's called.
Yeah, they were fun. I always remember being like slightly disappointed because they were chibi rather than being the really like nice full animated music videos in Project Diva. But they were also really fun. They were just like a great way to pass some time and listen to some good music while tapping. But that was like a while ago. After college, somehow I got really into gacha and mobile.
Oh god, the small domino. Okay, what led you to Sekai, the big domino?
So I've been playing them for a while. And then one day I was on the gacha gaming subreddit, and there was just a post that was like, the English version for Hatsune Miku Project Sekai Colorful Stage is coming out. And I was like, whoa, this is perfect for me. I love Project Diva and I'm a gacha addict.
Oh no. Okay, put two and two together.
That's how I downloaded and started the game. Day one player. I think it was during my finals week, but I still downloaded it and played it.
Yeah.
That's how I did it.
Okay, so from how you put it, so you did not get into it through like the JP version. You were direct to EN from the announcement that it was being localized then.
Yeah, I didn't even know a JP version existed until the global announcement or the EN announcement for it. And I've always heard of like Bandori and I think the Love Live. I knew they existed just because being in the kind of gacha realm, but I never really knew how they worked. And I wasn't quite interested enough in them to explore it until Project Sekai came out.
Okay, that makes actually like a lot of sense. So you were like, so with you it was like, oh my god, I am a big fan of Vocaloid. I like gacha games. This Vocaloid gacha game's coming out and it's in English and I'm gonna play it. So that's really solid actually. Gosh, and like once you got into Sekai, people know you for like being like, as you said earlier, Honami CR, right? So people know you as the Honami Yoshi. What like attracts you to Honami as a character, and what makes her your favorite?
So at first it was just because she's a drummer. I also play drum set, so I was like, whoa, there's one in this game. So here's the thing, I didn't know really about Bandori or any of the other games. So I didn't know like it was common to have a band and like the girls playing instruments in the games. So I was like, wow, Honami's so cool because she drums, but apparently that's a really common thing. But then like I kind of like started reading the stories and started listening to more songs, and I like started getting other people I liked. I really like VBS and On just because their songs are like so good and their style is so good and stuff.
Agree. Yeah.
And then eventually I read the Leonid story, and I basically like her character really resonated with me, and
you could say she was resonating with you. I only make bad jokes, I'm sorry. Continue. Don't laugh. It makes it sound like I'm funnier than I actually am.
But it was just really kind of like seeing her story is about like how she's really nice and caring to everyone, but other people, sometimes mean-spirited people, misconstrue her niceness and think that she's two-faced or trying to get on the good side of everyone, and then she gets like bullied as a result of that. And I feel like it's just something that I like really understand. It's you want to be there for people and for the people you care about, but then a lot of times if there's like conflict between like two different groups that are both your friends, it's just really hard. You get misconstrued as like conniving or dishonest, or it's like they say you have to choose a side, right? But then it sucks because you don't want to choose a side necessarily. And personally, like some of those things, I went through some of those things, during my school days as well, and I saw friend groups like break up because there's just no good solution a lot of times to those things. And it just felt like something that really connected with me. And then seeing her kind of push past that with the help of her friends and having it get resolved, and then having her become a stronger and like even more caring person who's be able to kind of accept that these things happen, but still do her best to be there for everyone she cares about is something that I think is really amazing and really, really just connected with me and really made me love her as a character.
That was actually like really well put and like so indicative of like a true fan, when they're able to speak about what they like so much about a character. And I feel like a lot of people would maybe like resonate with what you just said right there, especially if they're a Honami fan themselves, or even if they're not a Honami fan, even because you made it like so universal and really like touching. That was like really great, bro. like oh my god, I was like moved. I was like, oh my god, Honami's not my best girl.
So actually, you said this the other day, Curry, and it actually like helped me realize why I like the oshis that I like, which were Honami on. But it's just that they're the kindest people, and they like do everything they can to help the people that they care about. And I think that's something true for both Honami and On. And they're just like really trying to do their best to help their friends. And it connects with me a lot, and I really like that about both of them.
Yeah, and I feel like there's like a connection between you and Honami in a lot of ways, because like you mentioned that you were a drummer and she's a drummer, and you mentioned how like kind and helpful she was, and I think a lot of people in the community would say that you're like one of the most wholesome and like kind people that like are in this like tearing space. So there's a lot to be said about like how you can kind of see yourself in your oshi, like kind of distorted mirror.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no. I'm only speaking facts, because I'm very genuine when I say this, because I mean I named the stream T1 Wholesome Dude. All right. Well, yeah. No, it's nothing. So the next thing I really wanted to ask was like, because of your tiering achievements, you were T1 resonating with you and T2 doubts. Are there any stories from, and T20 sync? Are there any stories that you want to share from any of those tiering experiences, or any like fun little tidbits or anything you just want to explain to people or tell people about?
I think something fun that I realized maybe people don't know is that during both of my cheering events for the podium attempts, I actually teared in the car for a really long amount of time.
Do you think that the car helped contribute to your success?
Definitely not. The car was 100% a detriment. At first, I should shout out Hala. Hala is my friend. Yeah, she's absolutely amazing. She like saw me deciding to stay up for like 20-40 hours, and instead of thinking I was crazy, she helped and supported me and took care of me during all that. Yeah. And so big shout outs to Hala.
Such a wholesome relationship.
So I bounce around between two cities a lot. They're like 7 hours apart.
Holy.
And so during Honami 2, I just like was incredibly, or not Honami 2, sorry, Honami 1, which is Don't Let Doubts.
You're already ready for Honami 2.
I was just incredibly unprepared in basically every way. So at the time, we had planned for me to like pick up stuff from my apartment in the other city, which is like 7 hours away. And there was no other time for us to do this, but I was still like in the middle of tearing.
Oh my god.
So Paula just drove the entire time, and I was just on data cheering in the car. And then the people there can tell you that there was large struggles to like, because while driving you would go through like bad connection areas, and then I would just DC. And
oh man. So you were griefing yourself with
no, I'm griefing myself.
Oh man.
And yeah, so that was why it happened during Don't Let Doubts Hold You Back. And then during Resonate, we actually decided to just go home early. We were planning to like stay in the first city the entire time to hardcore tier there, but then it was looking like kind of like we had it in the bag, and so we decided to just drive home. And I was like, all right, I'll just car tier again.
Oh my god.
The same thing happened that day as well.
Oh my god. So the very same thing happened that day. Did your how should I put it? Did your first experience car tiering help for the second?
I guess. Oh, let me know. Like I warned people beforehand, like, oh, at a certain point, like I may DC and then become unreachable.
Oh god. Oh my god. Wow, why are there police cars? I have tiered in cars before, but not really for like a podium run or anything like that. So it was for, and you said 7 hours too, right? Oh man. Oh man.
Yeah, and it'd be 7 hours of tearing in the car, and then getting to the the apartment, right? And then sitting down and cheering for like 10 more hours.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay. Well, in the case of that, and you said that this was for both Honami 1 and Resonating with You, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, was there any in the more normal downtime when you weren't inside the car? I can't even imagine that, to be honest, because I would when you're tier, right? You're probably already stressed, or at least a little bit stressed. And to be in a car and have the risk of DCing for 7 hours, that's kind of incredible. So props to you and Hala, because Hala MVP for driving.
Yeah. I'll never do it again. If I if it's competitive in any way, right? It was only in Resonate we could do it because it was the last day where I was pretty close to park, and I was like, okay, well, we'll just try and go home early.
Okay, I see.
I try and make the drive early kind of deal.
Yeah, but
wouldn't recommend it to anyone, by the way.
Well, I mean, if Z doesn't recommend it, don't do it. Don't do it. But I do remember that while Resonating with You, you pretty much had it in the bag, right? But with Doubts was a competitive event. I think most people remember Doubts for your you and Hino duking it out for T1, the long struggle, and that eventually became, at the time, it was the highest T1 T2. I think it only got passed at Pale Color. I could be wrong though.
Yeah, I think it was Pale Color. That sounds right.
Yeah. And so that tearing struggle, I think a lot of people remember that because it was just so crazy. I think I saw people in Stagecord being like, oh my god, why is T1 and T2 so high, and why is T3 just chilling? is there like any stories from that specific like tiering experience, or it was like way more competitive, that you want to share, or would you want to talk about like your more chill tiering experience more recently?
For Don't Let Downs Hold You Back, I think like the biggest thing is I'm just still so thankful of everyone who helped me during that event. Because like it was before I really knew anything about how to tier properly, and I was like, okay, I'll just, the only thing I knew was Ebby. Right? And, like, play Ebby.
If you know nothing else, shrimp.
But turns out you actually do have to know a little more than just Abby. And so during that event, like, I had like no particular schedule plan. I didn't like my team. I had the event team, but then I didn't like have it even set up properly. I didn't have any of my decorations.
Oh man! Wait, seriously?
We actually go back and see like during the first day, it goes like my gain is like incredibly poor.
Oh, man.
But like during that event, both a bunch of people like basically taught me how to tier properly, including you, Charlie.
Oh, that is true.
This is how teams should be set up, and like their order actually matters in the room and stuff like that. I didn't really know about like internal score values back then either. And yeah, so the big thing is just like thank you to everyone who helped me that event, because I was just a random guy, no one knew me, but like somehow there were just so many people like willing to help me and willing to fill for me. Even there was no schedule set up or anything. Most of the time we just like added standby, and then we still managed to get 5 people in a room a lot. And I remember at the time just thinking like the concept of a 4 filler 1 runner room to me at the time was like crazy. It was like 4 runners and 1 person helping or something like that. Even 5 runners. And I didn't really know the norm, but I was just like, my god, like these 4 people are like spending their time to help me, playing at like no energy, and just like they're just helping me for like no particular reason. Like they barely know me, but they're willing to help. And I just felt so thankful to everyone, and especially because everyone was super supportive in that server. They're making memes, they're making like copy pastas. It was really great. And that was what kind of really pushed me to just keep going, because it was like the support from everyone was just overwhelmingly positive, and I felt the ability to like just want to do my absolute best. That and like an incredible amount of copium.
Oh man, it's always the copium,
huh? Because like the it got like the idea was basically like the event started on the weekend, and the idea was that, okay, like I'll just keep playing and maybe Kino has to go to work like,
oh my lord,
in the latter half of the event.
Oh man.
So I think that's what made it so I could push all the way to like the last day.
So partially copium, partially the support, and that that magic mixture turned into 70 something million points, right? What was your park for that event, if you remember?
That's right. 7. I remember because it's Honami's birthday backwards. Okay, 72012202.
Okay, now everyone in the chat has to remember that because it's Honami's birthday, and you can't forget Honami's birthday for Z.
Exactly.
Oh man, so the more you speak, the more I feel justified in naming this stream T1 Wholesome Dude. Oh man. So I haven't just like, so you said you got into tiering, you didn't really know what was up. So like, why did you even want to tier? Like, what inspired you? What made you feel like, oh, I should really like spend, oh, I don't know, like a week or so tapping my screen, 7 hours in the car, however many 5-hour energies you drank, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So it stems from, I guess, a couple factors. The first one was that like I get into like a fair amount of gachas, trying to figure out which ones I like best, kind of deal. And then I always like try and dabble in the like competitive ranking of those gachas that I play, even though I know like it's very expensive.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. And so I remember. So I think I like attempted T1000 the first event, and then T500 the next event. And then I think around that time was when I was like, man, like BBS is so great. Their songs, their drip and their songs are awesome. So I tried to. My goal was actually to T100, singing in sync.
Mm-hmm.
That seemed like a step for me. And so I tried my hand at getting that top ranking, and with that I kind of like I was on Reddit and all that. I kind of like found the public Discord, which led me to, so I roomed in the public Discord. I think that was when I learned that there was meta songs and like you should be playing, I think at that time it was Viva Happy.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Ready.
Yes.
I think during that event we went through all three. It was Ready, Steady, and then Viva Happy, and then Envy came out.
Yeah.
So I was rooming in the pub cord, and then eventually someone was like talking about like there was a server for tiering people, and that was Sekai. Then I joined Sekai, and eventually in there was the dedicated Singing in Sync Discord. And eventually I made it to Sing and Sync. I think Vibing Based Squad.
Yeah.
Was the Discord. Yeah, and then from there, like I was able to find rooms of Envy rooms and stuff like that, and that's how I was able to get T20 for that event. And like I just like really enjoyed tiering, or like I really enjoyed the community.
Oh god, mental illness. Oh, okay, community is acceptable. I enjoy tiering is mental illness.
Yeah, I couldn't quite say that. I really enjoyed like interacting with people, interacting with like the like community at large, because so like it just felt really like comforting, because I feel like liking Vocaloid, you know, being a weeb, you know, all that is like, yeah, like it's like not something you can talk about to like everyone.
What do you mean? I just show up with my like Luca Ita to Starbucks and be like, hey guys, you want to talk about Matsune Miku?
I mean, yeah, that's the goal one day, is to have that level.
So yeah, the community. Really, oh, sorry.
Yeah,
continue.
It was really great. Like it's just like the people that play Sekai, there's like an understanding and like agreement that like, you know, you like Vocaloid, you play a gacha game, and then even among the tiering community itself, there's like the further agreement that like you are someone that's comfortable with like the dynamic of tiering, which is like something that, you know, not everyone like agrees with or is even comfortable with, right? Like if I told someone that I spent 40 hours tapping on my phone, they might think I'm crazy.
With no sleep too. That's the big one, right?
You know, that doesn't apply when you're part of like a tiering community. Everyone has the same goals, everyone has the same like ideas, some of the same ideas, and like it's just really nice to have that kind of solidarity and that kind of community, and then you just kind of grow closer to the people that you like tier with and such. And like I was feeling that in Sing and Sync, but then like doubts happened, and I just felt like I felt that immensely because so many people were willing to like be there and support me, even though I was just a guy who was just
Hey man, at the end of the day, we're all just guys.
yeah. It's true.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's so wholesome
to see like so many wholesome and like nice messages from so many like people, and it feels honestly like I feel like there's some, I would say there's some drama here and there, but I do generally feel like the Sekai community is like the like most wholesome and welcoming of the gaming communities that I've right, like of their gachas, like sometimes they can be toxic, they can have some strange opinions, and even in other games and such, like that certainly can happen, but it feels like it happens far less in the Sekai community, and that's the big reason honestly why I tier is for the community. Well, it's for the community, and I like being competitive. It's the mixture of those two.
So it's a mix of those two. I wanted to ask though about like one specific thing. This can be as long or short as you want. Just what made you cheer for? I mean, other than of course the fact that you love Honami. What made you cheer for your 2 podiums specifically? Like, I know some people cheer for like they like think the title's pretty. Some of them cheer like for the title because they like the event story, the event cards, that kind of thing. So like, what about doubts, and what about resonating with you? Were like really attractive to you in those aspects, or like even just convenience sometimes,
So for doubts, like I said, I want to be like, I like being competitive. So after attempting T100 and then getting T20, I wanted to try my hand at a podium, even though I knew absolutely nothing. And then it was at that point that I kind of like figured out who my favorite character was, and I realized like I wanted to do the Honami event for the Honami Focus and attempt it. And then at that point, I was able to dedicate that. So another big thing I feel like for tiering is timing and IRL timing. Yeah. I was able to dedicate like basically that week. I was basically able to take off that week thanks to good timing. And I felt like it was a good event to try and go for it. And that's how I landed on Don't Let Doubts Hold You Back. And I really do also enjoy the cards during that event, but I think the big reason was because it's Honami's first focus. And it just felt right in that sense.
I totally get you on that. Like, it's Honami's focus, you have the time, just go for it, right?
Yeah, and it worked out really well, even though I didn't get T1, got T1, but I found that experience invaluable, and it was an amazing time just cheering with everybody in the Honami server. And also, maybe it's a bit of copium, but I really love the number two title now.
What was it you said? That it matches her eyes or something?
It matches, 100% does. I'm just saying. It's by far the best title that I could afford.
Godspeed, my friend. And I'm sorry for earlier. I cut you off a little bit on before you spoke about resonating with you. My apologies. Would you like to talk about that? Or?
Oh yeah, for resonating with you, it was actually this one was far more like timing related. Basically, after my first like T2, I was like, oh man, I was so close. I really like want to consider another T1, an event T1. It was around this time that I kind of like decided, my future plans about cheering, which is I would like to eventually get a Honami podium, which is Honami 3, number 1, Honami 2, number 3, and Honami 1, second. That would be really great. But also around this time, I was looking through all the events that I'd consider, and one that was really like that resonated with me.
Yeah.
Because the cards were really beautiful during that event.
Oh man, I relate.
Yeah. and it was basically the event that I was looking at that was like the one that was most interesting to me, like within the like kind of closest time frame, because Honami 3 is like in November or something like that, so it's still very far away. And I had dismissed it because it's actually during my finals week. So even though I liked the event, I knew I probably couldn't do it. But then basically like 2 weeks roughly for the event, all my like actual finals got changed into like different things. One became a like final project and the other became a final presentation, which meant that I like basically became free that entire week. And that was what allowed me to then, attempt to go for it. And this is, I'm really thankful on my part that I basically announced it like a week before the event started that like, hey, I think you have going this. Would anyone be willing to support me? And I got a lot of support, and I'm really thankful to everyone who supported me during that event. And yeah, and I was able to T1 it thanks to all of that.
Yay.
And I'm super happy for it because I don't like read further into the story very often, but I do try and keep up with the Leonid story, mostly the Leonid story.
Yeah.
Sometimes I read the others. Maybe I'll do it some other time. But like it's the resonating with you story is kind of, I feel like it's the culmination of what's happening with Leonid. I won't spoil it, but it's really good. It's really wholesome, and it's just like, it's great. It's everyone, being together finally and kind of deciding on their future together. And it makes me really happy that I could do it for this event because the story is really great in it.
I vouch for that, by the way. I was told by a friend, you have to read this, and I said, okay, and I read it, and it was actually like really good.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the very impactful stories and like turning points for the group.
One like 100%. Oh gosh, so you mentioned this a little earlier. You mentioned like that you were in other gacha game communities. So what games have you played? And you said this after college, I believe after college. And what games have you played? What are your experiences with them?
Yeah, it was. I think it was during my freshman year of college that I got introduced to it. I'm pretty sure, like I was always a weeb. I liked anime and manga and stuff. But like one day, my friend like showed me this mobile game on his phone, and it was King's Raid, and it's like this kind of like 3D game where basically it's just kind of a standard gacha, and that's kind of what got me into the genre. I actually didn't play that game for that long. I jumped around a few. I remember I tried like, I think the Fire Emblem Heroes was what I did.
Oh my god.
And yeah. And
I played that one too.
Hala and I were really into it at first, but then I think one day we're just like, why are we doing this?
Oh god, why am I playing this game? When that realization hits, and did you immediately uninstall, or?
I think I definitely stopped playing.
I gotcha.
Yeah, eventually I landed on a game called Epic 7, and I think it was like my King's Raid guild was trying this new gacha game called Epic 7, and I've just actually stuck with that gacha game ever since. I think it's been like 2.5 years. I've dabbled in a few others, like Genshin, obviously.
Everyone played Genshin.
Yeah, but like I keep going back to Epic 7, and I genuinely really like the game. I think it's kind of, it feels, it's weird, to say, but like these gacha and mobile games really feel perfect kind of for my life situation right now, where I don't have the time necessarily to devote to like finishing a console game. It feels like, or like getting really into a console game, but I can, on when I'm like on an everyday basis, I can spend a small amount of time on these mobile games, and then at certain points where I know I'm going to be free, I can just invest a huge amount of time in it.
I was about to point that out. I was going to be like, so you don't have the time to play console games, but you have the time to spend like a week tearing.
Into the console games, because if you play like 30 minutes a day, I feel like it's not satisfying.
I actually like totally get you on that. Like you want to play, when you want to play those big console releases, you want to kind of sit down and play them for like hours, right?
Yeah, and like now that I'm so into tearing and dedicating weeks to it, maybe I could have been a person that like would finish a console game, in like 1 week. Take work off and finish it in 1 week, but I guess I just never developed that type.
Maybe in a split timeline, there's a Z out there who's really into console games. Finishes like what are you even into for console games?
The last one I finished, like fully completed, was Persona 5.
Okay, there's another Z who's like a Persona 5 like speedrunner, streams on Twitch, like like plays the game 17 hours a day, just like there's like the current timeline one does for tearing, right? All right.
I feel like I knew it was over for console games and me when I didn't play Elden Ring.
Oh,
everybody and their mother told me to play Elden Ring, like everybody. And then I didn't end up doing it, and I was like, now the hype has died down, and I was like, oh, I guess I don't need to do it anymore.
No touching grace for you, huh? All right. Yeah. So like you've played quite a few gacha games then. What do you think Sekai like offers that the other gacha games don't? Would you like what's the good and bad of it? Like do you prefer some things? Do you not prefer other things? That kind of thing.
I think Sekai is like really, really great at being like a rhythm game. Like it's amazing to me that you can basically play Project Sekai and like not care about cheering at all, and absolutely have a fantastic time with the game, because you unlock all the songs, you try and get better at like 24s and then 28s and then 30s, and then there's even achievements for it like mad skills and stuff.
Oh god, matter skills.
Matter skills. Like, because coming from Project Diva, that's the entirety of Project Diva. It's just doing that aspect of the game. But Project Sekai makes it completely free to get all the songs and get all, basically get the gameplay experience. That was something completely foreign to me coming from all the other like gachas. Because in Genshin, like you don't just get to play with all the characters, right?
Yeah.
You roll for the character. To get gameplay is in fact paywalled by money, and that's just something that doesn't happen in Isekai. And I really love that aspect. I think you mentioned in a different world, but I think in a different world there wouldn't be a cheering Z. There would just be a trying to grind mad skills Z.
Oh my god, matter skills Z.
And then so I really love that part about Project Side. That's why, and it feels really great to kind of, it's sometimes hard to recommend gacha games to kind of friends who are not into that, but I can freely recommend Project Sekai if they're like rhythm games kind of deal, people that play Osu and that kind of feel, because all the important aspects to them are effectively free. And I think that's something really amazing about the game. And then the other great part about Isekai is the community part that I was talking about earlier, because it's kind of crazy that to be a competitive tierer in Project Sekai, you basically have to network and be friends with people. It's almost impossible to do it alone. And I didn't know it, but I think I find that that's something I enjoy, and just enjoy like interacting with people and like talking with people and kind of being excited about the game together effectively. I think basically in all the other gotchas, like all the other mobile games, like you sort of need that if you're like in a guild or something, but you can largely do like most of the competitive aspects of on your own. You would only need like a small group of friends, like people in your guild or something, to like help you climb together in PvP or stuff like that. But in Project Sekai, it's really a community game. It's a social game in a sense. And I think some people dislike that, but I think that's a really cool aspect of it.
Yeah, I do think there's like there's like good and bad to it, right? Because on the one hand, it's like so cool that you get to like meet these people and network with them and become like friends. You know, I think that's a big thing that like I think to the outside, people just think tiers are like isolated groups of people, but on the inside, like pretty much, yeah. I mean, on the inside though, like I feel like once you're in the community and once you've done a few events, helped people out, gotten helped out yourself, people kind of know you and you're just like buddies, you know? And I think that's pretty neat in like, that's a neat thing that I've only experienced, like just like you, only in Project Sekai. Although I never played like the other rhythm games competitively.
Yeah, same. I never did those things either.
Oh gosh. I guess my last question for you, until I inevitably ask you like more random stuff, is like outside of, you know, what is the Z that is not outside of gacha? What are you like? Like, what are your hobbies? That kind of thing, you know?
Let's see.
You mentioned you were a drummer.
That's true. I really enjoy playing music. Although, honest, I feel like I'm a bit interconnected in the sense that I'm just a big weeb.
Okay.
So I do actually love. I guess I should mention the parts that are related. But I play drum set. I can play bass as well and a little guitar. I started playing music not from anything, you know, anime or manga related, but because some of my high school friends, like a lot of us were into like Guitar Hero and stuff. Yeah. And then we just kind of like tried to learn real instruments, and then like one of my friends was really into it and they got the whole setup, and we started a band together in high school, and that was fun. And we played
real life Leonid.
Real life. Well, we played a lot of like punk and like alternative music, like Paramore, Green Day, those back in the day,
back in the day.
Maybe still popular. As far as I know, on the radio they still play the same stuff.
No, that's kind of true. So you were in a band and you were the drummer then.
Yes. And I was the drummer, and that's how I got started with music, and that's kind of how I, how I ended up liking rhythm games and liking Vocaloid and stuff, because like as a musician and as someone, as someone who plays drum set, like it's really easy to like see and appreciate other musicians and what they're doing, and that's why I got so into Vocaloid, is because like there's so much to appreciate in the musicality of Vocaloid, of a lot of the Vocaloid songs, and so many things that they like the composers add to their songs that are really unique and really cool. And I think like I remember kind of like the first thing you have to step past when you start enjoying Vocaloid is kind of like getting used to the vocal quality and the robotic voice.
Yeah.
And then that's a big hurdle for a lot of people. And I remember trying to introduce it to my friends, and they're like, "That's so weird."
I just can't deal with the robot voice.
But once you get past that, there's just like so much to appreciate, and then eventually you just start kind of enjoying it.
Yeah, no, I get you.
Uh-huh. But I say it relates to kind of like liking manga and anime is because eventually, like in my college days, I joined a like anime cover band, and it was like the best time.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it was great. It was just we were actually had we had like a brass section, and then the normal like band setup. We had sax, trumpet. We had a sax and a trumpet, effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was just it was honestly that's kind of when I realized that I just like
all you need now is like the violinist to play the peppy violins that are in every anime opening.
Oh yeah, so and that it actually got started because I was in something called the Intermission Orchestra at my university, which is this orchestra, like it's classical orchestra setup with the percussion section, violins as well, the string section, and like band section. And we would just play like music from animes and games as a full orchestra.
Oh my god.
And then eventually a group of us splintered off into our own little like band.
Oh man, that's awesome. Do you have like a favorite song that you played during that time or anything like that?
There's some really good songs. I think I would say 99.9 from Mob Psycho. I think it's the second OP. It's really, really good. It's really fun on drum set.
As the drummer, of course, you're going to focus on the drums, right?
Yeah, as a drummer, I would focus on. But also, it's just like an absolutely like awesome sounding song, and it's really hyped. For sure. But, another one, Kakuse from
Promare.
I didn't actually watch this movie.
You didn't watch Promare? Watch Promare, man.
I didn't watch Promare. Thank you, Curry. But one of our members was super into Promare, so they arranged Kakuse for us. And like, boy, is Kakuse a great song.
Yeah, man, it's so freaking good. Yeah. I don't know how how do the drums go for that? I'm sure whatever your member arranges was amazing.
Really fun because in the drums there's like a 7/8 into 4/4 measure in that song.
Oh, that's funky.
Chorus.
Oh, that's really funky actually. 7/8 into 4/4. Huh. Okay. For the non-music people, those are rhythm changes. Like the time signature changed, which for the drummer is like, since the drummer controls the rhythm, it's like kind of. That's funky. It's funky stuff. Funky stuff.
And it's fun. I feel like being in an anime cover band made me appreciate like Japanese anime music so much more, because I introduced to so many like great songs, and ones that I probably wouldn't have like necessarily found out because there weren't necessarily animes that I was into. This might actually be my favorite, but it's the season 2 OP of Kakegurui, which is Kono Yube Tamare.
Yeah.
And it's a spectacular song.
I never watched the season 2 of Kakegurui, but I did listen to the opening, and yeah, you're right. It's a banger. It's a banger.
I did watch it, and that's why I feel like I probably wouldn't have known about this song if one of the band members wasn't just really into the song, really into Kakegurui and this song. I think it was their favorite song. But yeah, Kono Yube Tamare is a kick-ass song.
Yeah. So you mentioned these anime songs that you covered in the anime band, and you also mentioned how much you appreciated like the musicality of and the way you speak. You really have like a grasp on what you like about music and what like the intricacies of it because you're a drummer. So I wanted to ask regarding Vocaloid and Vocaloid producers, do you have a favorite song? Do you have a favorite producer? Do you have multiple favorites that you want to talk about?
Good question. I think my two favorite are Jin, who does the Yeah.
Okay.
Really
Jin,
great.
what? As a Vocaloid fan, you hear Jin, you're like, okay, I understand. but if you want to explain further, please do.
I think that was so because Jin's style is more kind of in a traditional band setting, but usually like traditional band plus synth potentially. And like when I like first heard their songs, it was like, oh my god, like this is like so like there's so many elements to this song and it's so intricate and it's also like so kind of like it was more kind of I mentioned how I like punk and alternative and it kind of has that vibe too, but it goes a step above them and it adds a lot more things but keeps that same vibe, and I just found that like really really amazing.
So do you follow the Kagero project?
I only listen to the soundtrack.
yeah. I mean, me too. But do you have a favorite song from the project? Or?
Ooh, okay. So on Spotify there's like the covers of the original Vocaloid songs on there. I think, and honestly, that the entire album is like really, really good. I think if I had to shout out a song, I feel like that certain ones that may not get as much attention as they should. I feel like Shonen Brave is an absolutely killer song. It just a lot of good aspects to it. And then another one I really, really like, and it's on the more kind of electronic side, is Outer Science. And one day I hope these songs make it into Sekai because they're really great.
So far in Project Sekai, I believe we have a few. We have
Deceive.
Yeah, we have Yobinashi Deceive. We're getting Kagero Days. We're gonna. Do we have Children's? I think we're getting Children's Record.
Children's Record, and yeah,
I think that's it.
All gonna be
I think that's it.
Hopefully, we'll get even more because honestly, Jin.
Oh yeah, Jin's music is
Stella also great.
Stella is great. I agree. Stella's great. Any other producers that you're into, or like specific songs?
So definitely the other producer, and this is actually I found about them from Project Sekai, and it's Giga. You
found Giga from Project Sekai. That's very interesting to me because I feel like a lot of people found Giga first, right?
Because there was kind of like a lull for me where I like didn't follow Vocaloid content very much, and I feel like they kind of exploded in that lull.
When was that lull, if I may ask?
I feel like it was like 2016 onward, kind of 2016, 2018. Like where I would only listen to the old songs that I had.
Okay.
I wouldn't explore new ones, and that's why Project Sekai was so great because it like introduced me to all of these other songs too.
I think that's one really great aspect of Project Sekai, like that, like Vocaloid fans will appreciate, is that like Project Sekai really puts a lot of spotlight onto the producers, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's really great, and my friend always, who's like not as much of a weeb, not into like Vocaloid that much, but he was always like, I can't believe that like Vocaloid is like is still here and it still has a resurgence. I was like, how is that happening?
Oh my god. So what songs from Giga do you like?
So I feel like I always feel generic saying that like all the auto songs that Giga has produced are like really, really good. One particular song that I also really like is Champion Girl. Champion Girl.
Yeah.
That one's also great. I feel like there's almost like nothing that they released that I dislike. It's just that's partially why I saw VBS and I was like, oh my god, this is my jam.
Oh my god, VBS was like Ready Steady, and seeing that seeing Giga produce that, and I was like, okay. I was already gonna play your game anyway, but now you have my attention.
Yeah, it was a lot for me just like opening up the game and then just being introduced to all these like killer songs. I was like, oh my god, this is great.
Are there any songs like you got introduced to, like specifically from Sekai, that like I know you played the you only played the EN version, so and you're not as far as I'm aware, you're not too familiar with the JP version, correct?
I'm not, but I sometimes look at the like songs because you know if I'm in a drive, I'll like pull up all the songs that release and just listen to them. So I know some of the JP songs. So in regards to this question, I didn't know Ifu Dodo before Project I was like, okay. The first time I heard the song, I was like, oh my, this is
You're like, oh my god,
awesome.
They're moaning.
And like, and I heard it randomly on a car ride too. It was like, wow, this is so like jamming, like they're speaking so fast, it's so good. They're rapping and like
so that really was a fun one, huh?
I really like Ifu Dodo. And like I know some people cringe at the beginning, but I think it's hilarious.
I think it's funny too.
And the rest of the song's really, really good. So,
I feel like the chorus.
There's a song I found out about in JP that I just like also super fell in love with, and it's Bokura Mada Underground. It's an Eve song. I listened to it one day like randomly on Sekai.bes, and it's so good. I love all Eve songs, I think, but that one in particular is my favorite, and I think it might just be my favorite Sekai song right now.
That's totally legit, man. Like I completely like I feel you. Eve has such a really interesting compositional style, and you can kind of hear like whenever he makes a song, right? And you're like, oh, that's Eve. You know what I mean?
You know that's Eve. And it's really amazing. And like personally, I love Ichika's voice blended with Eve. I think her voice is perfect for the songs. And then, you know, Shiho also sings in that song and is really, really good as well.
The vocalists in Project Sekai are just also talented, and they bring their own flavor while also sounding like in character. You know what I mean? And singing as a character is so difficult. You know what I mean? And it's just so magical to hear them do it.
And it's why I like love Project Sekai so much as a game, and like partially why I like feel so okay with kind of throwing money at it.
Okay, yeah.
Great, like I want this game to like live on for a long time because it's so fun getting these songs. It's so fun getting new songs and original songs, and it's just a really great game, and I'm glad that it exists for us.
Oh man, yeah, no, I think that's like the perfect way we could probably like end this off, you know. I'm gonna give you just like a little bit plug like whatever you want, say whatever you want, ending remarks, whatever you'd like, just go crazy about it. Don't do anything that get me demonetized, thank you. Okay.
So I mostly just use Discord and Reddit, so I don't really have any social media to plug, but I can plug follow R2 Salt on Twitter. Follow Kanade Only on Twitch, and follow Amari Millans on Twitch as well. They're all awesome, great people, and I think that's all I have.
All right. Well, just thank you for agreeing to be the very first guest on episode 1 of the Sekai Pogcast. It's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah, of course.
It's so fun to just kind of geek out about Project Sekai stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, you're an absolute joy to talk to, and with that, let's just sign off, I guess. Bye bye.
Bye everyone.